Welcome to Realms Apart. More energy. More energy!
You're getting all of this uncut, by the way, Mo.
Welcome to Realms Apart.
Commandant Linde, Ellerie. My name is Cousin Marie.
My name is Matt.
My name is Nox.
I'm Fabienne.
My name's Mike.
Hi, I'm Az, for now.
Piper.
And Momo. We're all artists, creators, and friends with a passion for immersive experiences,
Role-playing.
And creative storytelling.
Those passions have taken us on adventures around the world.
And in the course of those journeys, we've met each other.
Each of us are separated by miles.
National borders.
And entire oceans.
I live in Connecticut.
I'm in Los Angeles.
I'm from Seattle, Washington.
Kansas City.
Cardiff.
I live nowhere and therefore everywhere.
and Ontario, Canada. With all of this distance, our adventures together have been limited.
So now we play Dungeons and Dragons together online.
This is the prologue to our personal, kind of semi-homebrew D&D game.
We decided we wanted to start recording our sessions in the midpoint of our campaign and sharing them with you guys.
Keep listening
Settle in.
Keep your swords and spells at the ready.
and prepare yourself for Realms Apart.
Ooh. Okay. Ready?
I'm gonna be honest, during fights, sometimes I'm not paying attention and I'm on Pinterest, but I try.
What?
What is
You're
the
hanging
aesthetic
from a
of my
pole.
next attack? That's what's really important.
There's a
here.
dragon! And you're
I'm
on
gonna
Pinterest.
fireball, but I'm gonna make it very cottagecore.
It's really easy to pay attention for all the like descriptive stuff, but when it gets down to like, is my this thing a +2 or a +3? I'm just like, doing my best.
That's
Ma'am,
why you
you're
haven't
like-
changed your spells
Ma'am,
in
I
4
need that.
years,
Gonna.
Morgan.
I'm fully aware that I can. But now Matt's, during breakfast one day, he was like, did you know you could do this? Did you know you could do this? And I was like, that sounds really fun. And he's like, it does, doesn't it? Change your spells, Morgan.
Okay, first of all,
You know-
this is making me sound like the aggressive person here, where actually the conversation started with Mo saying, oh man, I wish I could do this. And I was like, what are you talking about? You can do that. You just got to change your spell. She's like, what? No. I was like, yeah, dog, change your spell.
I have a
Read your
really,
class.
I have a really important question, and I'm sorry to interrupt again. Does Teedlebam Moosenick sound like this? Ellery. No, wait, it's not that. Ellery. Ellery. I feel like it was nasal, right?
No, yeah, it was more nasally. It was
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
Ellery.
There you go.
I
Yeah.
hate you.
yeah, a
Yeah,
little,
you kinda
a little
sounded
less
like-
rasp.
Okay,
yeah,
let's
sound
sound like it.
Greg from South Park. a little bit.
Ellery.
There it is. There it is.
All right.
Yeah. he
What
kinda
are you
sounded
doing?
like
We're gonna die. Okay, there it is.
I personally hope that it's you that dies.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
was a lot more congestion. That's right.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for that.
Yeah.
Round robin recap.
Just everybody say one sentence about what your person was doing last time.
They had a rumble in a back alley and killed a bunch of random bandits.
Hawke, he met Maglo. Yeah, Hawke healed Doddle, but he was bad at it.
Doddle blew something up and then had to come to terms with the fact she committed mass murder.
June just fought a giant mouse and then left her new friend behind to die and made it out to the docks.
Ellery was getting a new job in employment, trying to scope out best opportunity, had a nice glass of brandy. It's pretty nice.
Cal is literally falling all over himself trying to complete one task and in the process got beaten up, rescued, and back in trouble. So here we are.
Oh yeah, we totally met Fiddle Scratch. Which
Yeah.
I've completely
Yeah.
forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we met Fiddle Scratch, and he was like, "Hey, meet me in my bar in an hour," and then walked off, and we're like, "No."
All I know is I'm gonna fucking kill that tiefling.
Oh yeah, they got away, right?
Yeah,
One day.
I'm gonna
Lol.
fucking kill
Yeah.
him.
Getting a
Okay,
nemesis
Liam
this early
Neeson.
on is great.
All right. So yeah, just please focus into your character and think about who they are and the world that they live in and what they've been through up to this point. Try to be as descriptive as you can and have fun. I mean, we're doing this for fun. I know sometimes it's hard to remember that when we're in the middle of business and trying to make something really complex together, but this has been really enjoyable, and I'm really thankful to all of you.
Hey, Nox, you're supposed to make me cry during the game. Little too early, bud. Slow down.
We're gonna trust me, that's just the starter. That's the appetizer. Waterdeep is unlike any other place on the Sword Coast. It is a broad and expansive port city. Ships from all across Abir Terrell gather here. From the farthest reaches of the Sea of Swords, they arrive on canvas sails in enormous galleons that carry the mercantile wealth of an entire world, bringing rare spices and fabrics from far shores and carrying them inward into a land of magic in decline. The elves once dominated these lands, and when they did, the weave of magic was strong. It bound the universe together in a way that had never been seen before. Their power was timeless and unquestioned. But as with all things, no matter how impermanent, everything ends. And so the elves, their decline is nearly complete. Removal from the world. Those that have remained are outliers. They do not stand now with the great councils that have made the decision to retreat away from the world that the humans have made their own. The faster-lived races, the ancestries of ancient bloodlines, have built cities and innovated marvels that could be unthought of in the slow and magical time that the elves once dominated. But still, not all is forgotten. And there are remnants of powerful sources of ancient magic that run through this land. Items that contain not just the memory and artistry of that time, but the spiritual force of a world where anything was possible. And there are those rare few who carry within them a spark. Waterdeep is a city that all roads lead from. It is a crossroad, an anchor, a nexus. More than just ships pass through its harbors. And as the rain falls upon Waterdeep, the evening sky is growing dark, and through the smoke of cook fires and the smells and sounds of a civilization that is stacked upon itself, there is a hum beneath it all, like a living thing. It's as if the city were breathing. It's as if the city had a soul. And as evening falls, the wet shingled roofs of the multitude of buildings that stretch out across this walled city at the base of an enormous mountain, on the edge of a quiet sea, filled with ships and docks as far as the eye can see. The slick streets of the alleyway near the Way of the Dragon, the unconscious bodies of a number of ruffians are tossed about. Broken boxes and crates lie everywhere. A large cart with old wheels and worn wood stands attached to a stalwart, tired old draft horse. It whinnies uncomfortably and stamps its hooves. A fight has occurred here. Certainly not the first to happen within the streets of the southern ward of Waterdeep. and absolutely certainly not the last. But this fight is different. This fight is the beginning of something else. And standing in that alley on those slick cobblestones are 3 figures in a circle, staring at each other. Hawke, describe yourself.
Hawke is, well, I'm tall, about 6 feet, with a shock of unkept white hair that's currently plastered to my face from the rain.
Maglo, describe yourself, please.
Maglo stands in like a puddle of mud, which very much could have come from him. He's covered in soot and oil. On his left arm, it is a small brass spider with these little wings. It crawls up his left arm, which is covered in burns, what look like both like fire and chemical burns. He's probably rifling through his bag and counting all of his different spell components, as he's used quite a lot of them for the fight that just went down.
Doddle, describe yourself, please.
I am a goblin. She has long black hair with little white flowers in it that, although she just got out of a fight, seem completely untampered, almost as if they've just freshly blossomed in a new spring. Her face is decorated with a false smile, but very truthful eyes.
And not too far away from Doddle is a reddish-brown hen that scurries after her wherever she goes. It splashes through the streets on the cobblestone, kind of waddling, following her as if it were a lost puppy. In a dark alley, moving through the streets, following tracks, seeking an opponent that she cannot find, is another figure. Saray, describe yourself, please.
She is a elf, but she has short ears. She has long black hair that is short in the front, and then the long part goes out into a very long braid with green highlights. I used to remember that in the light there's like a greenish kind of tint to it, but in the dark it just looks black. Oh, and she's beefy compared to other elves.
Somewhere else in the dock ward, a pink-haired half-elf steps through the raining streets. Jacket pulled close, hat down low, a mandolin on their back. Ellery, could you describe yourself, please?
She is in the zone. Ellery is thinking about just those few things the conversation that she just had, and the rain means nothing to her, so she is probably very soaked, possibly even pacing a little bit, maybe going back on a few of the steps that she's made just to relive that conversation and make sure that she did what she thinks is right for herself.
You're half elf, but you're half sea elf. Is that correct? That's her ancestry?
Yes, she has a little mark on the top of her head that gives her away. It's just this little blue birthmark that shimmers in the light.
So she's quite comfortable with the water, and the rain is probably welcome right now. Past Ellery, as she crosses through the grimy, busy streets of the dock ward, there is a woman standing on the edge of this ward, looking out at all of the warehouses and the sails of the multitude of ships that stretch out across the harbor. Piper, would you please describe June?
June is a woman of darker skin. She has short, deep hair, very curly, golden eyes, with a thorn whip at her side.
And also in the dock ward, however, not in the streets, a young man is washing filthy pots in the back room of the dirtiest tavern in all of Waterdeep. Can you describe Calder for us, please, Az?
Young man, not a child, but definitely not full grown. He's a little awkward still. Pretty plain clothes on normally. His coat is the only thing that looks like it might be worth a damn, and it is not on his body right now as he washes these nasty, crusty dishes. And his baldric with his 2 swords is probably also hanging up with his coat away from him. So he looks pretty basic right now.
I love it. Yeah, and I picture him knee deep in like dirty water with his sleeves rolled up,
just filthy.
Fighting the real battles of Dungeons and Dragons, trying to wash pots.
Yeah.
All right. So, to those of you in the alleyway, you've just retrieved the book that was stolen from Maglo Mandorian. Some of you have questions that have yet to be answered, and a very mysterious stranger entered into the fray at the very end and offered you a safe house, a place that you could go to rest and recuperate with the promise of additional aid. He seemed to be in love with the world around him and seemed to have great affection for each of you, although you had never met. He offered you respite in the tavern known as the Gilded Owl. Then he made his way, disappearing, whistling into the busy streets of Waterdeep. And now the 3 of you are standing there, alone.
Bless you. I don't know about you two, but I think I'll go to the inn that fellow told us about, even if it's just a room for the night. You know, if we hear him out and we don't like what he has to say, we can go our separate ways.
I'm also a big fan of getting out of this rain.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go where the goblin goes, so.
We've got an hour, right? Is there anything that we could do in that time? It's gonna take us like an hour to get there.
It's a little safe to say that getting anywhere in Waterdeep is a bit of an undertaking. An hour may be exactly the amount of time that you need to be able to find this place. He didn't give you a street name.
Oh, there's no time like the present. I'm gonna go check on our horse friend.
Yeah, so over at the back end of the alley is the horse that is a draft horse, well worn and aged, but still strong, able to pull carts, and just has kind of sleepy, sad eyes, looks over to you curiously as you come closer, and there's a skittishness to this horse that whenever anyone gets near him, he seems to move away. It just doesn't seem like the horse has been well treated.
No! Oh, sad horse. No. Okay. I'd like to raise my hands up as I go to him and speak very softly and kindly.
Mm-hmm.
To speak.
That sounds like an animal handling check too.
I suppose it does. Friend, I was wondering if you would be able to do me a favor and take us to... Where are we going? What's it called?
The Gilded Owl.
Gilded Owl.
The Gilded Owl.
Was it the Golden Ale?
Gilded Owl sounds like a euphemism for something.
Yeah, how many taverns could there be in this city? We'll find it.
I imagine that you haven't been to Waterdeep before.
No.
You know the street we just came off?
Yeah, well, I know of it.
There's at least 7
Oh,
on that one street alone. So they're all over the place.
okay.
Makes sense. It is a trading city. A lot of people would need a place to stay for the night. Tell you what, if you want to get ready and prepared, I can go find directions to the place.
I'm gonna hype up the horse. I'm gonna say, I got a 9, so it's probably not a very good pep talk, but I'm gonna be like, you're doing so good, and I appreciate all that you've done for us so far. You're so very professional. Give him pats.
Okay, so you pet the horse, and it's already endeared itself to you. You've made a friend with it based on the just the small amount of attention that you've given to him. And he looks to you and licks your hands, and when you ask the horse to take you to a specific place, it just starts to slowly kind of pull down the alley, walking slowly next to you.
Everybody on! I'm gonna hop on the cart.
Wait, person, child.
Doddle.
Doodle, right. You might not want to ride it public. I don't know if there's an easy way to say this, but I don't know if the denizens of this town will think everything's above board if a random goblin's riding down with a cart.
I pull my scarf up over my face. Ta-da! Now I just look like a very sick halfling woman.
If anybody asks, you have a mild case of leprosy. Perfect.
I'll drive it, that's fine.
Okay.
As long as the goblin cares to sit next to me.
That sounds wonderful.
I'm gonna give Maglo a bit of a suspicious look, and
I just looks back like, what? What do you want?
What? Nothing.
The train's leaving the station, boys.
Okay, but
all right, I'm on.
We should get the I'm gonna go get the directions. I'll be right back. And
Where are you getting directions from, Hawke?
I'm just gonna see if there's maybe like somebody running a stand nearby, or like a local shop, or anybody that you can just like.
So, given the fact that this alleyway is strewn with the unconscious thugs of the gang that attacked you earlier,
oh yeah, he's
it takes Doddle and Maglo quite a while to turn the cart around, get it back towards the main street known as the Way of the Dragon, and to make sure that they're not, trampling over unconscious people as they're pulling this cart out. So there's a lot of work to do. Everyone that you pull off to the sides of the alleyway, Maglo and Doddle, are firmly unconscious. No one seems to be dead, with the exception of 2 individuals that were on the roof that were shot.
Doddle just avoids looking at the bodies as they go past.
Doddle, should we kill these men? A lot of them are unconscious. It's just...
I'd like to leave.
We're gonna leave, but didn't that fucking halfling man say something about them coming for us? Or something. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then Maglo pulls out his pistol and then starts loading it. So, what do you know about Tewin?
So Hawke, you're on the street, and you step out, and it's raining, and it, there are people who are walking very quickly. There are parasols and some leather umbrellas that are being held over individuals' heads as they move through the streets. Others don't seem to mind and just walk through as if it were a normal day in the city. And the streets have become very muddy, and there's a thick muck in the middle of the street that's being trampled by the passing horses and carriages. To one side, you see a series of vendors that are selling what looks like fairly low quality produce and other food. You see a meat pie seller, you see somebody who is a fruit vendor, and then to the left, you see a series of old shops with glass windows that have lights flickering from the inside. Where would you like to ask for directions?
Hawke's gonna make his way up to the meat pie seller. He draws his hood up over his head.
Okay, so you start heading to one of the meat pie vendors.
Yeah.
And as you do, you see that it is a stall that is very simple. It has a ragged canopy that has stripes painted poorly across the top of it. And it's fairly ramshackle. The wooden facing of this counter is deteriorating. And there is an elderly woman with a hunched back and a kind of a sunken, saggy face, but strangely very bright-looking eyes, very deep blue. And she is moving about, placing these parchment-wrapped meat pies out onto a tray very gently. And she's using a big metal spatula and a pair of wooden tongs to carefully place them as if it were a work of art. And as you get closer, she slowly looks up.
Hello there. A meat pie for you, sir.
Tell you what, I'll take 3. Look delicious. Thank you, ma'am. By the way, I was wondering, do you know the directions to a place called the Golden Owl?
Is it gilded or golden? I know of a golden dragon.
No.
The golden owl. Owl, yes.
That's it.
I do remember further in the southern ward, off of Coach Street, I believe. Yes, Coach Street, an old building, but they've made it some sort of library or something. I don't understand why you would wish to get an ale and read a book.
Sometimes people just really want a boring afternoon, I suppose.
She just like reaches over and grabs your hand, and she has like these old like parchment-like hands, and she pats your hand and pushes the 3 meat pies out.
That will be 2 silver pieces, please.
Hawke opens up his pouch and digs through it, goes through and like pushes away some like beetle shells and like random knickknacks that he has there, and he pulls out 2 silver pieces. They, on the backside, have the image of a spider stamped into them, and on the front side, the image of a very beautiful elvish woman.
And you put this down on the counter.
There's only money.
The woman stops. She gets very nervous. She looks at you, and the jovial nature has dropped away from her face. She swallows hard and takes the coin, and you can tell if you make an insight roll, something is amiss.
I am going to make that roll. That is an 8, so not good.
So you don't know. You do feel that the prices are strangely high. The woman is clearly having some sort of problem at the moment with something that has happened, but you don't know what it is. And so she looks at you and hands the pies.
Coach Street. You'll find it on Coach Street, sir. Please, here, take this coin back. It's only one silver for you, sir.
No, ma'am, please, I insist.
I didn't mean to offend. Please.
No, there was no offense given, ma'am. Don't even worry about it.
She looks like she's about to cry. She takes the coin back, and you can see that she's shaking.
Are you okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
He takes the pies in his hand, and he takes a bite. And as he leaves, he turns around and he goes, "Ma'am, I just want to apologize for my Elvish in advance, but this is a damn good pie."
You say that. I mean, she is sweating, and she is looking around and is not comfortable in this moment. You don't know exactly what's going on, but she's not happy with the situation. But she just nods and smiles in a very forced way. God's be with you, sir.
God be with you. And he walks away.
So you walk out, and at this time in the alleyway, you see the carriage kind of pull out with the horse, and Doddle sitting on the top, and Maglo is driving.
May I say Doddle was looking very nervously at Maglo loading his gun while asking about Teowen?
Oh, yeah. So as you walk up, you do hear that question, Hawke.
What do you know about Teowen?
Hawke tosses a meat pie to Doddle. He's about to toss it to Maglo, and then puts it in his pouch.
Oh!
Everything all right here?
I'm gonna sniff it, just go. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the kind gesture. I'm afraid I don't eat meat. You can see that she is drooling a little as she slowly hands it back to you.
And so, Hawke, you have another meat pie back in your hands, and the one that you're eating is not good. You have not had hot food in quite a while, and it is soothing in the sense that it is warm. You know that to you it tastes much better than it probably is.
All right, I've never met a goblin that didn't eat meat, but
I'm a bit of an oddball, what can I say?
You're a goblin who don't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
And you know about Teowen.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you loading the gun there, buddy?
Didn't the halfling say that there were some people after us, and it was these guys? They're all knocked out. I was wondering if we just take care of them now.
It's not their time.
Or are we going to make it their time? Or
no, we're not.
All right. Jesus Christ.
Hawke's gonna climb up on the cart.
Okay.
Listen, Doodle, I'll hold on to your, Doll. I'll hold on to your meat pie if you change your mind. It's not the best, but it's warm.
Oh, I'm sure it's delicious. I'm afraid it's a personal preference, but I do appreciate it very much.
All right. Hawke hands it to Maglo. Here, occupy something
I'm
with
right.
your hands other than loading a gun.
No, I'm all right.
The guards are gonna look a little suspicious if you're loading a gun, so just eat the damn pie.
I'm not loading a gun anymore. I don't think the guards will look. I don't think me eating or not eating the pie is really gonna tip off the guards to the fact that we just caused a fuckload of damage there. So, Doddle, what do you know about Tewin?
Perhaps we should not get into the nitty-gritty of it until we are seated in a more comfortable location. But how about this? I'll tell you something I know if you tell me something you know.
Well, it depends. It will depend on what you tell me, because if I tell you what I know, we're gonna be here for a couple of days. So
Well, I can tell you both what I know. He leans in carefully. It's pissing rain and the inn is up the road, Southern District. Let's head out and we can keep talking while we move.
Maglo the horse to stop it.
Okay, give me just an animal handling check, and this is just so that I can keep track of how the horse is reacting to you over the long term.
Oh,
not
20, boys!
There it is. We know how this session's going to go.
Yep. The precedent has been set, my friend.
So,
just confirm.
Okay. Yeah, see if you get a second natural 20, as per our house rule. But no, nothing miraculous happens. Just the horse is reacting very pleasantly to you and Doddle. It doesn't seem to care too much for Hawke and his meat pies, but that doesn't seem to be slowing him down as he pulls you through the streets happily. In fact, you make very good time moving through the streets and following the street signs that are fairly clearly marked. And you come to a couple of crossroads and you go down the Way of the Dragon, which is a large thoroughfare that breaks off into some other streets, and then start moving through smaller side streets, and do eventually come upon a simple street that is known as Coach. And on Coach, there are a series of buildings that seem fairly old. And off to the side, you see the large wall of Waterdeep, not too far in the distance, with buildings that are built right up to the side of it. And there is an enormous statue that stands in this section of the city. And it stretches up above the city wall, and it looks as if it were 80 to maybe even 100 feet in height, towering over some of the buildings themselves. It is a giant, a monolith, a silent watcher over all of Waterdeep. And there are a number of these statues that are scattered about. Anyone who has history can make a roll, and I might tell you a little more about them. Maglo got a 25, of course. Doddle, you have no idea, but that makes a lot of sense that you would not know about these. Hawke, you've heard about these statues. You know that there are giants, stone giants that are scattered about Waterdeep. You don't know much else. You don't know what they represent. Maglo, you know that these statues are a defense mechanism, and that if the city were to be attacked, that they would come to life. And they are giant sentinels that protect the city itself, and that their positioning usually doesn't move at all. But if there is a threat, they will walk through the streets of Waterdeep, fighting against any threat that they perceive.
Like in Atlantis.
Exactly. They haven't moved in many, many years. However, they are reminders of the great power and ancient arcane works that are done here within the city by some of the greatest wizards that have ever walked across Bir Torel. There is a small cul-de-sac that you see a sign hanging outside of. There's no building attached to it. It's almost like a street sign, but it has upon it a very large metal plate with a gold-leafed owl with outstretched wings. And there is some writing across the bottom of it. And anyone who speaks or reads Common sees that upon this sign is emblazoned Golden Owl tavern. Fine refreshment, and there's an arrow pointed into the cul-de-sac.
Well, I was hoping for a little better than just fine refreshments, but...
In this part of town, you're lucky that it says refreshments.
Uh-oh. I don't know that. Okay. Is there a place we can drop off our horse friend? Maybe make sure that he's well fed and taken care of?
So inside of this cul-de-sac, there is a stable, there is a very large, beautiful building that I'll describe in just a moment, and there seems to be an area for carriages and horses to be pulled into the stable and taken care of. As you turn the corner and drive into the cul-de-sac, you see the multi-storied building before you, and it seems like a very old building with round river stones that are stacked upon each other at the base, and then timber as far as the third and fourth stories, with lots of little nooks and offshoots on the building that jut outward like almost a crown of thorns on the top of this slate-roofed building that has bright blue shingles, and then the wood has been painted a very bright yellow color. And there is another sign made out of wood hanging over a pair of double doors that has another metal golden, it's not gold, you don't think, but it certainly looks like it, but a metal owl with outstretched wings that hangs there creaking in the wind. And in the center is a fountain. And on that fountain is a very young-looking soldier of some sort, and she has her sword pointed skyward and a shield on her side, and there is bright clean water inside of that fountain. And for being in the southern ward of Waterdeep, this is a very well manicured and cared for building. It seems a little out of place, and there are a number of horses that are milling about, and you see some patrons sitting outside on a porch, and they're under an overhang smoking pipes and talking, carousing with one another. They have drinks in their hand, and there is a jovial sense of mirth about them. As you pull into the cul-de-sac and you come around, you do see a young boy with dirty blonde hair, very scraggly, thin build, wearing breeches and a very clean shirt, but you can see that they're wearing an apron that's a little too big for them, and there's splotches of grease and dirt smeared about it. And the boy is carrying next to him a very large old broom.
I just have a dumb question. The soldier lady on the fountain is part of the fountain, right? She's like a statue, or is there a real soldier lady hanging out?
No, that is
Those are very different.
Yeah, it's very different things. And fair question. It is made of marble.
Okay.
No, Doddle, that's a statue. You know what statues are, don't you?
I was gonna say, actually, as we passed by, I was gonna be like, Maglo, do you know who that is?
Do I?
Make a history check at a disadvantage, please.
Flash of genius to make that an 18.
Oh, all
18.
right. Well, that's a very good roll. Your DC was very high, though, because this is very obscure.
Beans.
I know. You don't know everything, Maglo, although you can claim to. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. I will say that with an 18, though, that while you don't recognize the soldier themselves, you do notice the marking on the shield. And it is part of an organization that you have read some stories about. There are old adventuring tales that get told by bards about a group of warriors, women, who served in and around Waterdeep. The name that you associate to the sigil is connected to a group known as the Shining Ring. The one thing that you know as well, though, is that that's not what they were called. There was a common phrase used for this adventuring group known as the Sharp Tongues. You just remember the bards loved these adventurers because they were known to be able to wield words as well as blades.
Well, I don't know who that is, but she's part of the Shining Ring organization. They're like a group of adventurers.
Oh.
A weird place for the statue, though.
Why? Is it not common for this kind of area?
Well, I mean, it's not really common for small cul-de-sacs like this to have such a specific statue, unless this is like some of the lords put it here, or maybe this specific woman was one of the people who lived there.
Yeah, could have been where she was born, where she took a nap once. Who knows? People throw up statues all the time.
Maglo, can you steer us to that stable so we can make sure our new friend is taken care of, please?
The young boy waves you down and kind of rushes out into the rain, and sets the broom down and rushes over to your carriage.
Hello, sir. Welcome to the Gilded Owl.
Hello, what might your name be?
My name is Sebastian. Pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Sebastian. My name's Doddle. I literally, in real life, went to put my hand out and then went, oh, bad idea. My hand's green.
So yeah,
You're right, Seb. Can we get a place for this horse?
Yes, sir. We can accommodate your horse and your cart. It will be 5 copper for the evening.
Is there a deluxe treatment like a spa day situation?
I mean, we don't need that. We just
the young man has.
I think we do. This horse has had a very rough day.
The young man has your hand, Doddle, and stops and looks at it, and then you pull it away, and he seems kind of confused. He kind of brushed over the question about the spa day.
I promise to brush your horse twice.
I'm gonna jump off the cart. I go up and I'm treating him whole ass, kind of like an adult, to make him feel a little better. I'm like, Sebastian, is it? Thank you so much. I'm gonna hold out my hand. I apologize. My leper gnome friend has a bit of a skin condition. Not leper gnome, sorry, deep gnome.
The young man looks at his hand and then looks up at you, and then just kind of like wipes it on his apron.
I give him a wink. You're okay, kid. 2 copper, was it?
No, it was 5.
5 copper?
All right, yeah, 5
I turned to Maglo.
For the whole night.
I turned to Maglo. Do you have 6 copper by chance?
Wait, I want to pay.
You want to pay?
Yeah, I want to pay. Can I pay?
Do you have money?
I was going to ask, what does Evermeet money look like?
So you're using Elven coin, and
That's all I got.
yeah, so it is very fluid-looking shapes and beautifully crafted. Each piece is like a little sculpture, and while they do still deal in the metals that the rest of the world traffic in, often elves will use other things for currency. But there are a number of coins that are used. They're just not as minted as the idea of how human civilization mints coin. That's more of a trapping of civilization that is a little further outside of how the elves operate, although certainly coins are something that they create. Less so much for trade amongst themselves as it is for the outside world. It's more of an adaptation that they've somewhat hesitantly adopted so that they could be relevant in the larger world. And you do have a number of these coins. You also have some gems and some other means of payment. However, each piece is very notable and very beautifully made.
I'm going to take out what the equivalent of, you said it was 5 copper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's give him 6 copper pieces.
That's what I was going to do. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm going to, I don't want Doddle to be too obvious about it, but
Momo wants Maglo to notice because it'd be neat, you know?
so Doddle's going to take out the 6 copper and hand it to the kid.
Thank you, ma'am.
He looks at it and looks back at you strangely, and then puts it into the pocket of his apron, and then leads your horse off. And I need all of you to make an insight check.
Himbo powers activate. Oh, hey, 16, not bad.
Nice, it's pretty good.
Yeah, Hawke, you notice that this young man, Sebastian, glances over his shoulder as all of you walk into the tavern, and is suspicious of the 3 of you.
I'm suspicious of the 3 of us as well. Can I insight check the other party members?
Yeah, you can roll insight if you like, and I can tell you some things.
All right, I'm gonna insight Doddle because that pulling out elvish money and smart goblin that blows up things with magical energies. Probably not. Oh, that's a 6. Yeah, it tracks. Goblins are
Thieves is what you come to. It's probably stolen. Yeah.
right.
Okay,
And then
so
for Maglo, I got a 19 for Maglo.
The distaste and distrust aimed toward you is almost physical.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is actively disgusted with just like everything you are for seemingly no reason.
Yeah, that makes two
Also,
of us.
when-
But how do
when
you feel
you-
about the about the goblin though?
Okay. Maglo is almost the opposite to Doddle. Like the whole ride there was like randomly saying facts. So that right there, that's like some fucking stone guardian, and it'll wake up when the city's being attacked. Yeah, like, do you have any of that where, like, at your home? And it's just consistently probing to try and get any information out.
I've been dodging it.
Yeah, it's all coming together.
all of you start walking towards the doors of the Golden Owl, and there are large, well-crafted double doors made of a heavy dark wood, and they've been intricately carved to show what looks to be leaves and trees kind of reaching upward, and then inside of them on each door is an owl that has been crafted, and they have these glass eyes that peer into the tavern. So they're very large, and each of them is like a little window. And the four windows kind of show this bright, flickering glow of firelight as you get closer to them. And it looks as if the owl's eyes are glowing in the early evening night. And the doors open with a loud creak, and immediately the warm smells of hot, fresh bread, well-cooked meat, and pleasant wine wafts across the floorboards to you. And you see warm hearths and tables and well-appointed little corners that are, dimly lit but not dark and mysterious. It is a very pleasant place. And there is a bustle of tavern patrons. They're respectfully moving about and are happy and smiling. And it is a far cry from many of the sights that you have seen in Waterdeep up to this point. This seems like a happy place, a kind place, a place that has been well maintained and loved. And even the clientele has been carefully manicured. It seems as if the people here want to be here and have a community together. And as the three of you stand at the threshold of the Golden Owl, soaked from the night without, looking inward, you see a number of figures, but the woman behind the bar catches your eyes. She is a strong-looking, older woman of middle age with very slightly graying hair that has been pulled back into a braid that falls across her shoulder. And she has an apron that has seen service but is not dirty. And she's polishing a tankard. And you can see above her at the bar is a beautiful long sword. She smiles. June. You're standing in the rain. The dock ward is stretched out before you. There are filthy streets, and the homeless are milling about, starting fires and seeking shelter from the downpour. Night has fallen, and behind you are the sewers. And your strange tabaxi ally is now gone, clutched in a battle with those strange rat creatures that were assailing you. He sacrificed himself so that you could make it here. But now you stand in the wet streets of a strange city. No one knows that you're here. You didn't pass through the main gate. There's no record of Juniper, of the Grove, making her way here. This is your secret. but it could also be your tomb. As if you die here, no one will remember. What would you like to do?
What do I see around me?
There is, off to one side, a very ramshackle-looking building with holes that have been very hastily patched, shattered shingles, and a broken overhang. There is a ramp that has been repaired more times than perhaps the original stairs ever stood, and it is like a gangplank from a ship that leads into a very gross and shady-looking tavern. There are other buildings and warehouses that stretch out beyond, and a number of very small ships that are tethered to a poorly constructed makeshift dock. This is just the beginning of where the docks begin, and many of the poorer sailors traffic their fish and wares here. This seems like a very dangerous area, and you're not a complete stranger to cities, but this city is larger and more expansive than anything you've ever been in before.
June just kind of gag from the smells and take a second to go over to the side and try to keep herself away from where the entrance she just came from. She's gonna close her eyes and see if she can get anything from the Oaken Father about right or left, up or down, where she should go.
So you're sensing, using your divine connection, hoping that it will lend you some guidance as to where to go. Would you like to pray?
I'd love to.
So make a religion roll, please.
Heck yeah. 7.
In this filth, in the wet, uncomfortable, sour filth that you have been crawling through, it is not natural water. It is city refuse that you have crawled through in the sewers. And you feel disconnected from nature. The city itself is ringing around you, and in the distance, there are the bells of a ship, and you feel confined and trapped. You feel locked in place, as if you're unable to escape the grasp of the city and the walls around you. And nature feels so far away. The only comfort that you get seems to be from the sea itself, as there is a sense of life and some tranquility there, but you're just standing in the rain.
Is there anyone old around me?
Make a perception check for me. I'll do that for you,
I
because
was
you don't. Yeah, no. I roll your perception checks. So you're looking about, and it is hard to concentrate. And you realize that you are certainly missing things. But on the porch of this tavern, you see a number of elderly men playing a game with stones and coins stacked up between them. And there seems to be a game board that's laid out before them, and you hear very muffled argument between the two.
Okay. June's gonna pull herself together and confidently walk over to those gentlemen. Yeah.
And as you approach and get closer, the two men stop and stare. You're a lovely young woman who is covered in muck, who's walking up to them. So they do seem to be taken somewhat aback. You can make an insight check if you like.
All right. 8.
So you don't sense any danger. You think that they're genuinely confused, and they say nothing as you approach.
Hi. Excuse my appearance. I've fallen into some mud with the rain. Do you know, I'm new to town, do you know of the storage units where I can go? I have a package to deliver.
What?
Packages.
Did she say she's looking for packages?
Storage units.
No, she said she's looking for a storage unit. Just be quiet for a moment and let the young lady speak. You're always talking in front of people, Terrence, and you never give them a moment.
Sorry, you miss. You'll excuse. I've had the missus allow me to come out today. Quite a good day.
You were saying?
Wow. June actually giggles a little bit. These men are a little charming. Yes, I have some things to deliver, and I clearly, as you can see, am very, very lost.
It's dangerous here.
Is it? I'm new here, so.
Yeah, well, I don't. Did you walk out of the sea?
I know it looks like it, right? No.
She didn't walk out of the sea, you twit. Clearly, she's been robbed. Are you all right? Would you like for us to call? We don't deal with the constables around here. Some of us have business.
And he's like winking at you badly, but instead of winking, he's blinking with both eyes.
Yes, robbed is actually a very good word for it. Yes, I just need to know where the shipping units would be.
Yeah, it's the Dark Ward. You could find that anywhere. Look at all of the buildings.
And he kind of waves his arm out, and you see a sea of warehouses.
Everything here is shipping. We're old sailors ourselves. I'm much better than Terrence ever was.
Shut your face, you nincompoop.
Well, if someone stole a very...
Don't listen to him. I'm a better sailor.
Oh. Well, I will listen to you then. If someone had happened to, as you can see, stolen a very pricey item from me, where would they have taken that?
Oh, I see. You're looking for the black market.
The black market?
And the underground, where they put the things that most folk don't traffic with. Dangerous things, right?
I don't know if you can consider...
Are you looking for herbal remedy? I do sell certain tinctures that perhaps you would find the missus helps me make them. Old alchemists we are.
Oh, goodness. No. I don't think that my item... I mean, I guess it could be considered high in value, but I don't think dangerous. Although I would... If you know where that is, June starts stumbling because she's just so taken aback. If you... where is it?
I would find one of the folks over at the dock will be able to help you, ma'am. If you step into this tavern here, I'm afraid, to be perfectly honest, you may not come back out. You seem far too kind to be in this part of town. Everyone here isn't here on choice. Usually they don't have anywhere else to go. And they're none too happy with outsiders. So I would be careful about the questions that you ask. And I only say this because you remind me of my daughter, rest her soul.
Oh, I'm very sorry about your daughter.
It was sailing that got her, but I'm proud of her nonetheless. Look, you're not here, I imagine, to talk about the dead.
And I don't want to see you be the dead. So you should be more careful.
Noted. I'm not used to the city life, apparently.
I get out of them, even though they're dirty, seem like fancy clothes. You want to blend in Waterdeep. You don't want to stand out like a sore thumb that's been hit with a mallet.
Well, where do I don't know where to get other clothing. I'm very lost.
I'll help you out. We'll help you out, right, Terry?
You're just trying to get out of losing this game.
I'm not gonna lose the game, you old idiot.
If you come back in 1 hour's time, I know someone who could help you.
1 hour's time. Okay.
Now, so the missus doesn't get upset and say I've gone soft, I will only charge you a single golden dragon.
A golden June kind of tilts her head to the side. And a what?
A coin. Gold. 1 piece.
Oh, currency. Sorry, we don't really use that where I'm from.
You ain't got coin?
Not really. I'm very out of place.
You are indeed, and you're in a lot of trouble here in Waterdeep without any coin, wandering about looking like a swamp monster. I pray the gods find you safely home, my dear. I don't know if you're gonna make it. Oh, don't scare her like that. She has at least 24, 30 hours in the city before she dies.
June straightens up and she takes her whip off her hip and she cracks it. I think I'll be fine. Thank you.
Make an intimidation check, please.
Fail me now, mofos. They failed me now.
I would just like to take this small break to thank Nox for actually putting Muppets into this game.
I am so glad we got to see Statler and Waldorf in real life.
My resources are 10. It's either Muppets or, well, it's really just Muppets, guys. That's all.
Thank God. Thank God.
Coming for me.
So happy to be here.
I want the party to have these two criminals adopt us as their fathers.
Yes.
I don't know that you want these two as your fathers, but all right.
Dads Al deserves.
You got a 4, and so I'm going to let you narrate this because I feel like you have slipped up a little here. I don't think it's like a total failure, but it's less than impressive than you expected. And maybe it's that these old men are a lot more hardened than they seem to be playing at, and that their kind of doddering, old, mischievous behavior might be a front for something else. So go ahead and tell me how June does this.
June goes and she goes to crack her whip, and as she cracks it, it hits the stone and bounces off and swivels and falls out of her hand on the right, and she trips as it happens and stumbles.
And the two old men who you found charming at first, you just hear...
June is very embarrassed, so she just kind of oh gosh,
ear
man.
to ear, they are grinning like Cheshire cats, and they have straightened up. Do make an insight check though now.
23.
Oh, that is a natural 20.
Oh.
Yes, and so here's what I'm going to tell you. They're not old men. These are disguises, and as you sit there and study them, you realize that this is very skillful artistry. It is wax and putty and powdered makeup. They're not old at all. And this is an act. And you immediately feel very threatened, as if whatever they're doing out here and why ever they're watching this area is for specific reasons. And you come to the realization that while they're being playful and kind to you, they're milking you for information.
Well, I just thoroughly made a fool out of myself. Someone stole a necklace from me, and it meant a lot. But clearly, I can't help pay for information, so I think I'm just gonna see if someone else will help me.
I'll be here if you find one of them golden dragons.
And they're
Golden
just
dragon.
smiling.
Right.
If
you see a necklace, let me know. It's pretty valuable.
Oh, we will. We'll be here.
Yeah.
Playing our game. I'm gonna beat Terrence.
Okay.
You will not, you twit.
And you walk away,
Yeah.
and their carousing continues. And as you do, Calder, the tavern keep has stepped in, boils and warts across this large, ponderous head, huge, massive bulk. Both fat and muscle makes this tavern keeper a wall. Wearing a dirty apron, boils across his face. steps into the back of the washroom where you are scrubbing at pots. Looks over at you, eyes gleam. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone clean that pot so well. You might be worth keeping, boy.
Cal's eyes just go wide. He looks down at the pot. Like, is the pot clean?
No.
Yeah, okay.
You finished like 3 that are kind of there. You're just letting them soak so that you can come back to them. You don't know that they've ever really been cleaned.
Right. So he looks down at the pot and looks back up at the tavern keeper and says, thank you. He's like very stunned.
Enough of that. No, would you go? The fancy mage is asking for you again. I know it's been a couple days since you got your shiner.
And the tavern keep points to your eye with a pudgy finger. And like it is swollen, almost shut. You've got this big bruise across your good face, the good side of your face. And so, yeah, it's not the part that you hide anyway. So you've got this eye, and so you've been fighting with your bangs to be able to see through without revealing your scars. And you spent your time sleeping in the back room. You've been given a little cot, and you've been working and diligently watching this mage of the Watchful Order. Blue powdered robes, clearly out of place in a shithole like this tavern in the dock ward of Waterdeep. And he has on his finger one of the blue rings that you were instructed by your contact, Filthy Meg, the mermaid, to retrieve. Yeah. And if you were to retrieve this ring, you will receive information on your family's galleon ship that has gone missing, the Siren's Call. So you have a lot invested in trying to figure this out. So much, in fact, that you're willing to wash these dishes to stay close to the situation.
Oh, but before you go, Terrence and Monroe are on the porch again. See that they get their ale.
Yes, sir.
And what do you do?
Well, he's going to grab that ale, I suppose. Prepare that and take it.
You take a tray with 2 big tankards and you walk out onto the raining porch, and you're in front of the gangplank that leads down, and you see the 2 old men seated around their board of stones as they're playing a game.
Hello there, lad.
Hello, boys. Believe you ordered this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, thirsty I am. Thank you.
And they take the 2 tankards and cheers each other, laughing. You don't know what they're so happy about. Do you go back into the tavern?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna take a look around just to make sure nothing weird is happening. Anyone else that I should take note of?
No, you don't see anyone else.
And it's back inside to the mage man.
And as you enter back into the mangy dog, in the center is this open pit fire, and everyone kind of like huddles around it, and it smells of old fish, and there's always stew boiling, and it's like it just sits there all day like a buffet. And people come up and they take their own bowls and they spoon them out. But in the back corner is the closest thing to a special area, and that special area is little more than a stone nook with a pair of benches and a fairly clean table. Good lighting, but it's down low enough that you can't really see faces in the flickering light. And Calder, as you walk in, you see the man in the powdered blue robes seated there, hands clasped, watching intently. And there is another person sitting next to him. And that person is wearing what looks like a ragged pirate's hat that's very large, that's been rolled up with what looks like a human femur bone that's been shoved through it. And they have an eye patch, and they have kind of scraggly hair that's sticking out underneath that hat, and a thin beard of gray. And they're talking to this mage. And the mage is watching everything, and kind of his eyes land on you. And you can see that he's listening intently to whatever this other person is saying, but paying attention to everything that's happening around the tavern. And to your right, you see that drunken bard. She's still strumming along on what looks like a poorly tuned harp and like a handheld harp. Looks to you and winks.
Of course. Oh, okay. So I think Kyle's going to go up to the bard and like nod, like a very tiny nod over to the strange pirate-looking person and go, what's his deal or their deal?
The deal. That one always comes in and talks the ear off of the blue fancy one. And they sit, and I often think to myself, oh, they're going to kiss now. But they never do. And I'm always disappointed because I love.
Oh, look, what a waste. What a tragedy. Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you think so. I've been drinking since noon, and frankly, I forgot that I was performing.
It's all in muscle memory, right? You're probably...
I'm a professional.
And she thrums her hands across the harp, and a string breaks.
A professional.
Alex goes, beautiful poetry. Gonna give her like a nod of thanks and go over to the mage's table, and he's going to... Oh, I guess I didn't bring any extra ale or anything, did I? They didn't order anything.
You've got an empty tray.
Okay. So he's gonna come in and he's going to put a hand on the table, like kind of leaning in. Like if they were talking, he's like clearly sort of inserting himself like, hello, gentlemen, may I get you anything? Is there anything that you need?
What is that? Is that a... I'm gonna have you make a choice here. You can make a performance or persuasion.
Oh boy. Okay.
And this is just to be kind of endearing as you do so. I imagine that's your intention.
Yeah. I'm afraid of rolling any dice now. Oh, yeah, that's a natural one. Okay.
That's our boy. So the last time you did this, you rolled 2 in a row. So I want you to roll again. And per our house rules, if you get 2 natural ones, this is going to be kind of disastrous. But you've already done this once, so I don't really know I don't think I can have you fall through another table.
What did I just roll? Was it performance? Okay.
Yeah, performance. So you can just roll it again, and we'll see if you get another natural one.
Sweet Jesus.
You got a dirty 20 that time. So you don't offend the mage,
right,
who has already sort of taken a liking to you, and it's been proven that you're awkward in the way that you've kind of like bumbled through part of this tavern, like knocking over a couple tablings. So like, I mean, he's definitely taken a liking to you beyond that. And you had a conversation with him earlier.
Yeah.
And there seems to be some very strong connection there as far as him seeing somebody who has potential. And so he sees potential in you. However, he also notices that it's very raw. And he kind of smiles, and you can tell that you absolutely probably walked in at the worst possible time, immediately after you say hello. And the individual sitting there just gets real glinty-eyed and then leans over and spits tobacco at your feet and then looks back up, saying nothing.
Cal's gonna look down at his boots and look back up and go, right, so I will be back, and I'll be back with some strong liquor. Cool, good.
That would be appreciated.
And so he's just gonna spin right around like, yep, okay. He understands, and he's going to get, I don't know, something better than whatever.
As you walk away, you hear, continue. You were telling me about the Zentaro.
Wonderful. Okay. He takes note of that. I think he's gonna look for the help, I broke something again drink that you offer people when you've offended them.
It's whiskey. I mean, there's really only 2 drinks here. There's watered down ale, there's sour wine, and there's whiskey. That's pretty much the menu. So yeah, you pour a couple of wooden glasses of this whiskey behind the bar, and you take it over to them, and they seem fine. I mean, they're having a conversation between the 2 of them. Do you Do you say anything when you place the drinks? Is there anything you want to try to do?
He's gonna just sort of like gently like slide the drinks over and say, there you go, not even water down or anything. And he just sort of goes about his business, and I'm gonna try to listen a little bit to what they're saying.
Okay, so just make a stealth check, please.
Yeah, okay, what does that mean?
So you rolled with an advantage. So you have a 17, which is good because you did get a natural 1. So
okay.
We're going to give you the advantage anyway. Okay. So
I
it's
don't
all right.
know how I did that or why, but
it's all right. You do have luck, which, by the way, as an ability, you can re-roll anything that you want 3 times a day. Even if it's a natural 1.
So much.
I will still have you confirm a natural 1, though. So, I'll have you roll it again if you use luck. Yeah, go ahead, just to see if you get another one, because then we'll know that this really is meant to be wrong.
So sorry, what was it? Stealth.
Yeah. No, you didn't. You did great. So, yeah, you're being quiet and you're listening in, and you don't think that you're being noticed, okay? Mm-hmm. And you hear the conversation. I trust that the gangs are moving quietly through the dock ward. Yes, we've been unable to locate all of the shipments that have come through. There have been a number of magical creatures that have been brought into the ports and through the southern and mud gate. We don't know what they're planning yet, but we know that it is happening quickly. It's unfortunate that I cannot trust all of my companions. Things have become muddled. I need you to pay closer attention to everything that is happening on the docks. If I need to get the Inquisitors involved, I will. Of course, the services of my friends don't come cheap. Name the price and it will be paid. That's not like you at all. These are extraordinary times. I need contacts that I can trust. I'll pay for them. If you know of any of your people that can blend in and not get caught like the last 3, I would appreciate it. I'm starting to wonder if our relationship is coming to an end. It's not, I can promise you that. My contacts will do well as long as they're paid well. We'll see about that. After a while, the man in the pirate hat stands up and shuffles out. Calder, make an insight check.
That would be a 1.
I don't know what to say, my friend. Today is not your day for rolling, but I'm okay with it.
It hasn't been my month for rolling. I don't know what's...
Let's say that you don't notice anything odd about the individual walking out the door. It's not like a critical failure. It's not like it ruined anything for you. You just don't notice a piece of information.
Right.
And so he walks out the door, and you hear very clearly from the stall, the back area. How much of that were you listening to, young man?
Every single bit. Yeah, every word.
Perhaps you should bring me another of those whiskey, and we should have a long conversation.
Yes, sir. And he goes and does that.
You realize that you did fail your stealth roll, and that he noticed that you were there, but just let you listen. So you go back to get a whiskey, and we'll come back to you. Ellery, the streets are wet, and you are happily walking through them, and all of the downtrodden dock workers and merchants that are moving back and forth across your pathway here all seem somewhat off-put by the rain, but to you, it is a symphony of joy as you are soaked to the bone and completely comfortable after your rather fruitful visit to the southern ward of Waterdeep. And you're moving back towards your rented room and the warehouse area where you were working.
Was I given anything to really think about before I left the Inquisitor's office?
I don't want to speak openly.
Okay.
So you have made an arrangement that is very profitable. And that information is not currently of importance. You've been told to go about your business, pick up your life where you left it off, and you will be activated when the time comes.
This doesn't sound like a good opportunity. This sounds like I could be left behind if I don't make sure that I follow instructions well. So perhaps I'm gonna go. What time of day is it?
Well, it's evening now, and
Okay.
it's very late in the day. The last bit of light is disappearing on the horizon, and all of the lamplighters are out in the street, lighting oil lamps, and you can see cook fires and things start to create a glow within the city streets. Even at night, Waterdeep doesn't ever really fully go dark. There's far too much happening, and there are magical sources of light that are also lit. So you're able to see a variety of light all around you. The one thing that you can't see that bothers you, though, are the stars. That they do get kind of drowned out. Yeah.
And it's a bummer. I would be sad that I couldn't see the stars. I think Ellery, she's soaked. She's probably on her way towards home. So perhaps if there's any she has a mandolin on her back. So perhaps there's a local gig she could pick up tonight. Something that on the way home, it's probably, she knows this area. Maybe there's somewhere she can just dip in for the night and, pick up some extra cash and gold.
Yeah, there are a number of taverns that you've played at before. Your boarding house has used your services before to pay for your room. So if you perform there during the night, you would probably be able to make enough coin to not only get yourself the room again, but also to cover your expenses and maybe have a few drinks as well.
Oh, that sounds like a good time. Then I'm gonna go up to my room, change into something a little bit more for the night, and get ready to perform.
Okay, so you're changing and you're actually getting ready, and you hear very clearly.
She ignores it at first.
It doesn't stop.
Fine. So she comes out, I think probably halfway done putting her blouse together. Just let's get this over with. Goes to the door. What is it?
It's me, you dolt. Open the door. Do it.
Ellery opens the door.
Still knocking, just like.
All right. What do you want? What do you want?
You've opened the door, and he's still knocking at it. And you see the small, balding, grayed-haired, little streak of blue in his beard. But it's this gnomish co-worker, associate, Teedlebam Moosenick, is standing before you. And he has a lot of pouches and belts and things strapped across him. He has a cloak that is a vibrant green, but it's seen much better days. It's fairly threadbare. He has fingerless gloves and has big bushy eyebrows that kind of swoop outward that kind of highlight his very... For a gnome, he has very squinty eyes.
All right, come on in. She just halfway, she's still putting her stuff on. She kind of goes back to whatever.
I don't know what you think you're doing, Ellery, but you almost got both of us killed.
Listen, I'm sorry. I had to meet with the Inquisitor.
What?
Yeah, you don't believe me? Here, pull out the letter.
It sounds like a lie. If you met with the Inquisition, they would have you hanging from the gallows before you could say butterfly snot.
Well, then maybe I know something that the Inquisitor wants to know, and perhaps that means that I'm worthy of not killing.
What?
Listen, that's my business, not yours. What do you want?
I hate you.
All right, well, do you want in on this or what?
I don't know what to say to that. I came here to tell you that if you're not in the warehouse at 6 tomorrow, when 6 bells ring, that I'm going to make sure that you get fired this time, and that I don't care, because you almost got me killed by the grasping eye. And I'm tired of being on the losing end of all the nonsense and chaos that you create around here.
Well, if It's probably time that you started looking for someone else to help you with those boxes then.
You're really gonna do it? You're gonna sell out? Work for the city?
I'm really going to be working for the city now.
You disgust me.
All right. Well, listen, I gotta go. I've got a performance
I gotta
really
go too,
soon.
because if I'm gonna throw up in my mouth if I look at you any longer.
It was nice working with you while we had the chance.
Yeah,
but,
I hope you fall down some stairs, piece of shit.
I'll be thinking of you when it happens.
Teedlebam walks out the door, slamming it. But he does, he stops for a minute, and I need you to make an insight check. He stops for a moment and then looks back. Yeah, you think he hates you, and he closes the door.
All right. Hate is another language of love, so, you know.
Maybe. So you perform that evening, that interaction, down in the open common room of the inn that you have been staying with. And the traditional deal stands. You're going to make some coin. What do you perform, Ellery?
What is my soul? Whatever my soul feels like playing tonight. Pretty happy with my new job. So Ellery's going to play some upbeat tunes for the patrons.
Yeah. You notice that people are a little more hesitant around you than they usually are. There's some distance between you and the regulars, people that you've either worked with or you know. And as you're playing throughout the night in the back of the bar, Teedlebam is just sitting there kind of solemnly drinking out of a very large tankard. And somebody will come up and he'll whisper with them for a while, and then he'll cast these really cautionary glances at you.
Ellery would be very interested to know what that is about, but can read from his subtleness, I feel like, that maybe now is not the time to be asking it. Perhaps the night, usually, I don't know, does anybody send her up a drink or anything while she plays, or is it really that bad of a night?
It's pretty bad.
Wow, okay.
But I want you to make a performance check, because maybe you'll win some people over despite the rumors that are spreading through the tavern like wildfire.
Oh, wow, this is going to be good.
You got a natural 1.
Okay, well, I didn't say I was a really good bard.
Hold on. I had the roll again, and let's see if you get 2 of those. So
whew, okay.
You did not. So it's not disastrous. However, you are not at your best right now. You're too self-conscious of all of the. It's really harsh energy in here. And you really do, you don't even need an insight check to know this. You really do feel like Teedlebam just ruined your night.
Teedlebam. Well, this one goes out to you, Teedlebam. She just plays a very sad song.
Okay. You do. And I'll let you make one more insight check.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so that's a 19. That's very good. Teedlebam is casting these looks at you, but there's a moment, and it's fairly fleeting, but you notice that it doesn't have malice in it. It seems desperate and scared.
Ellery would like to pack her stuff up and leave.
Okay.
I think what she's thinking in that moment, just seeing that look, is just uncomfortable. Any look like that is not welcome here, and I'm selling out. I'm not doing well. Teedlebam knows what I'm up to, and I just gotta pack up for the night and just let that be it, and hopefully haven't rocked too many other boats.
Yeah, so you move out, and people are whispering, and you can tell that the whole tavern is sort of cautious around you. People are walking around you.
That's good. Yeah, you should.
And you stalk up the stairs and back to your room, having made very little coin. However, your room is still covered. The tavern keep stuck to their word and hasn't reneged on that. And you make your way back up to your room.
23.
Oh, that is a natural 20.
Oh.
Yes, and so here's what I'm going to tell you. They're not old men. These are disguises. And as you sit there and study them, you realize that this is very skillful artistry. It is wax and putty.